parental advisory, a little bit of language. We ain't gonna never talk about nothing crazy. We just joke. Like, onion favorite. Like that. And we just joke. But anyway, we do have a little forge on me. Yeah. We're gonna be chilling for a little bit. This is the life here. Kind of like how we living here, like beyond the cute piece. Yeah. So, yeah. So, what you doing over?
Nothing.
I'm gonna do the beat though. So I'll be in here going to beats. Like when we be in here in the evening, I'll start doing beats and raps and stuff. I just came over to jump, so y'all be like, I know. It might not be good music, but we just be in here having fun, just to keep your mind, your spirit, your soul, everything. When you want to stay engaged. Well, I would give this advice if you're talking from the life unit. And I'm sure you agree. You agree with this, right?
What's that?
To keep your mind going, joke a little bit, run, try to do as much as you can to keep your mind engaged. So we just be messing around.
Something different in life you learn. You learn something new every day.
Mm-hmm. So we be making beats, writing stuff down, doing quizzes, thinking of, so yeah. So there's always something going on in the pod, so yeah, y'all. So we working on the beat. This is how I was in that zone. We're addicted to the bando. Spinning candles. Is that how I was in that zone? Alright. Give me some, man. We were addicted to the bando. Lights and the candles. Yeah, come on. Man, don't do that. Nah,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Do it again. Come back with it one more time.
Now, this is sort of vibing that language. In language, but it's rap. It's not going to be nothing crazy. Alright, you ready?
Go ahead, bro.
Who's just doing it, Joe? I came up with this.
Come on, man, with that man, though.
Listen to the bando.
Yeah.
Lights and the candles.
It's gonna be a scramble.
Hey, bro.
I'm jumping out like Rambo.
Okay.
Don't fall on my elbows. Keep your shit cocked, nigga.
Hey. How's everybody doing? This is Free from For the Song, and you are in the Life Unit. So the Life Unit basically shows a more introspective look of how we live, stuff we do to kill time, keep your brain engaged. Would you agree with that, bro?
Right, yeah.
Okay. Keep your brain engaged, puzzles, music. I might just start making a beat and he'll start rapping, or I'll be and it's fun. And we'll laugh, joke a minute, and get back to work and studying and doing other stuff that you have to do. But you got to have those moments to kind of keep it light. So we do the Life Unit mixed with a little humor, parental advisory for language. We're not going to ever get crazy, but, sometimes I slip out or something. But we don't want a teenager who may be listening, and we're trying to, more than anything, stop the school to prison pipeline. That is something that's very, very important. You'll see that in a lot of our posts, writings from the past, and go back 6-7 years, maybe 6 years, yeah. You can see kind of, just that, stopping that. So, we want to have fun, but not, encourage anything that would ever be negative. So anyway, what's up, man? What you doing up there?
I ain't doing that, man. I'll sit back. I'm trying to catch them on the
Alright. And this is season 2, Life Unit. We did a couple other ones. Yeah. So yeah, we was in here doing the beat. So anyway, like I said, sometimes we be in here talking like, what's up, man? What you doing? Studying. You might go through a little stock book, talk about this, talk about that. Then I'll start beating on the thing like, man, let's, we just start freestyle. Just having fun. So.
You cranking in here, though, for real.
Yeah. But it'd be fun, though. It just be music we just make up. So I was making up a joke like 30 minutes ago, bro. So
yeah.
20. Okay, so it was like. Addicted to the bando. Lights and its candles.
I gotta go get my man, Joe. Cause we in the band, though. Understand what I'm saying, yo. Your boy, he ain't paying, yo. So now we gotta go get it. And we hope that these little dudes are with it. Cause if it's him, then they gotta slide. We on the thing and we gon' make it glide. Back and forth, front. We ain't gonna do no stunt. We got all the jewelry and everything. We bring it dudes till we bang bang.
That's a little DC go-go.
We ain't gonna let it go, y'all. Hit the go-go, y'all. Southside, what my nigga said. Keep talking up a one in your head. Something I don't like to do. It's bad for you, then it's bad for you. I come through. Give my nigga, pulling the trigger. Don't be fizzing.
Okay.
Yeah, come back here and it.
Okay.
Get him,
you
know what I'm saying? Let my boy get a piece of it.
Hold on. Highland. Yeah, bomb.
Hey.
Avenue.
You. There it is.
So we were doing that joint. Then we had a little. You remember that joint I did last week, the Chicago joint?
Yeah, man.
That joint would be like,
hi, bro.
We got a posh in Chicago. 91 Ferragamos. Hanging out in Flago.
Yeah. That's my dog, y'all.
We the flyers and they all know. That's how that joke went, right? And then you came in with the joke like, my name is Bob from the Hill. And you killed that joke. You remember that joke?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could have recorded that. But that's what we doing, man. Just trying to keep our minds engaged on the life unit. You know, just find a way to, puzzles, Sudoku, whatever, I recommend to your loved one. Or if you have someone that's inside, just, get them stock investing books for dummies. The stuff I have on here. Franchise, fundraising planner, inmate shopper, different things. Just keep it, just stuff that, keep the mind engaged. So, that's the life unit. You got anything, bro? For people keeping their mind engaged mentally, socially, all those things?
Yeah, man, just do what you need to do. Keep your nose clean and stay out of trouble.
Yeah, I agree. We'll close out with something. This was the life unit, y'all. Just something funny we be doing. Then we'll be watching the game in a minute here, turn this music on out, watch a movie on Pluto. So study, read, pray, stay busy. 40 strong. Y'all have a good evening. Welcome to the next show, season 2. Hey everybody, I hope y'all enjoyed the music. Well, makeshift music. That's kind of what we do. I mean, we all do different things in the cell, because you're in the cell. Like, I know here we come in at 4 p.m., and we're pretty much in until 8 o'clock the next morning, with the exception of going out for breakfast a little earlier. So whether you're reading, doing music, different things like that, is how we choose to, consume time. So I started the Human Lounge and the Life Unit to kind of show what goes on behind the scenes, from the normal calls that people get. Hey, Mom, hey, Dad, how you doing? It's so much more that goes on inside of the prison's life. So, I just like to share those things with y'all. But on a serious note, I have my guy, High with me. We're here to talk about fatherhood from prison, how important that is, and how important that is to stopping the school to prison pipeline. I'm sorry. I was lucky enough to operate the Fathers Initiative Training Program. It's actually a book I wrote titled Fathers Initiative Training. I call it FIT, Being Fit as a Father, and that's on Amazon. I actually got 6 books on Amazon. I never really self-promote or talk about me a lot, but Fathers Initiative Training is on Amazon. It's a great book if you have a husband, a brother, whoever, incarcerated, and you would, want to give them something that would help them on their journey of still being a father. But like I was saying, I did operate Fathers Initiative Training at Sussex 2, I believe in 2012 to 2013. Warden Vargo, very nice lady. I can remember Warden Vargo. My unit manager was Mr. Clary, and I pitched it to him. I was like, look, we got a whole pile full of young fathers. I think this program would be great. Mr. Clary, I will say, much love to him wherever he is now in Virginia DOC. He read the whole program. He took the program home. I had it in book form at that time for the whole weekend. He said, this weekend, this is what I'm doing. So he called me in his office and said, I'll be reading the program. He took the program home. He loved it. And that next Sunday, I had the first program in the pod. 30 men, young fathers, older fathers, and we talked about the importance of still being there for our children, motivating them, talking to them. And we used the Fathers Initiative Training book, which is 7 steps, to do it. So it was a beautiful experience. And since then, I've ran into many of the fathers, and they've given me their updates and journeys. So I'm just happy to be talking about this because I believe it's very important. I believe that it worked with my 4 children, Simone, Courtney, Malik, and Sydney. They're all wonderful people. They all work jobs, take care of their families. They've never been in trouble, never been to prison. And that was really my goal from the beginning. When I first landed in jail, I was at DC jail, and that night, I promised myself that regardless of what happened to me or how much time I had to do, that I would make sure that my children break the cycle because I was the child of a parent, my father, who was in prison. And I said that's not going to happen to my children or grandchildren. So that's just a little backdrop of why this is important to me, why it should be important, why I'm asking Virginia DOC to support fathering programs, to push that, because it really matters, and children do listen. And just because you are incarcerated, to anyone who's incarcerated, if you know someone who is, please tell them that parenting does not stop. You can still write a letter, shoot an email, give some words of encouragement, whatever that may be. So, yeah, I got my man High with me, and we're about to talk about this, and hopefully it'll help somebody.
Yeah, so like I said, I got my man High here with me. We got that good father's energy, and we trying to help some fathers. If you know someone who may be locked up or away right now, whatever that situation may be, and they still have children, we think that that's very important that they stay active. So I'm going to ask High a few questions. We're going to get this going. So High, why do you think it was important for you? First off, High has a son. He's in the military. Be 37 in November. Good guy, good man out there, taking care of his family and everything. No doubt about it. So why do you think it was important for you to continue your journey as a father in spite of your incarceration?
Well, when I was locked up, and I got locked up arrested on this charge, my son's mother was 3 months pregnant. So my son don't know me from being out there in the street, changing his diapers, helping him take his first step, taking him to preschool. All my son's memories of me is telephone calls, letters, visits in the visiting room. His whole life, that's all he knows. I was never able to go to him. He was always had to come to me. So I recognized the abandonment that I put my child in because I wasn't a physical presence in his life. So his mother and I came to an understanding that regardless of our relationship, hers and mine, she was going to always make him available to me, an address to write, a phone number to call, visits, whether she bring him or my immediate family bring him, but she was going to make sure that him and I always had a relationship. And this relationship, you know what I mean, me not being there physically, I knew that I had to be a strong mental and emotional presence in his life because my son came up similar in the environment that I came up with, which was poverty, you know what I mean? And the last thing that I wanted to do was look up one day and see my son walk through these prison doors. So I made an oath to myself that I was going to do everything within my power from behind these walls to prevent that. So one of the things that I felt was necessary was education, not miseducation or misdirection. Because coming up in environments that most of us come in, a lot of the shit that we was taught as kids and young men, we were getting all the wrong information. You know, and it took me years to understand that I had to do some self-correction. So I never talked to my son, even when he was 10, 12 years old. I never talked to him like he was a 10 or 12-year-old kid. I always talked to him as my equal, as a man, because I wanted him to understand the importance of these lessons that I was giving him. And he may not have understood and comprehended at that time, but he told me years later that a lot of those conversations, a lot of those letters, he went back and read them over and over again. And he understood the importance as his understanding expanded as he got older. You know, and of course, you know, you're going to have your rough moments, you know. You're a young man. I'm the father, so I feel like I'm the authority figure. So we're going to bump heads. You know what I mean? That's just the rite of passage between men. But at the end of the day, it's my guy, man. I'm not saying this because he's my son. I'm saying this because I'm proud of the man that he's become. The father that he's become, the example that he sets for me. You know what I mean? He teaches me. Every day we go on his phone and talk. He teaches me. You know what I mean? My grandchildren, they teaches me. My daughter-in-law, they teaches me. You know what I mean? And with that, you know what I mean, we continue to grow as a unit.
That's what's up. Now, I want to touch on something that you said earlier in that conversation, which was very important in the Father's Initiative Training book that I wrote. It's the phone calls, the letters, and the emails. Because with the distance that we have from our children and our families, those phone calls, emails, and letters become even that much more important. So if you were a young father right now at Sussex, a young father at Haynesville, wherever that is, and you're 25 and you got a 5-year-old son, a 3-year-old daughter, what should those, age appropriate, because we know they're younger, but what should those letters and emails consist of for a young father that's reaching out to write a letter, to email, to stay engaged? How should those letters be? Or those phone calls?
Well, I think self-love and self-worth should be at the foremost of any conversation that you have with a young child, whether male or female, especially females. Because I feel like I can't speak of no culture but my culture. You know, we as black men, I feel like a lot of us, we are great providers when it comes to taking care of our women, to provide for them materially, protecting them physically. But one of the areas that I feel that most of us fail is we don't protect our young girls' psyche. You dig what I'm saying? We don't teach them the importance of self-love, the importance of love within their household, not seeking love and validation outside of that house. Everything that you need as far as love and education and importance is there in that household within the family dynamic. Whether you go and get it from your grandmother, your grandfather, your aunties, your uncles, your big brothers, big sisters, your mother, father, all these adult figures in your life is there to help rear you to be a responsible adult in life. So self-love and self-worth is more important than anything. You dig what I'm saying? But also, we can't preach to our children or our young people about the importance of education when we are not pursuing a higher level of education ourselves. We got to lead by example. I used to preach to my son, my nieces and nephews, the importance of go to school, get an education, graduate. If you don't want to go to college, go to trade school, find a life skill that you can provide for yourself and hopefully your future generation. But I had to get my GED. I had to take some type of treatment programs, whether it was anger management or thinking for a change, to re-educate and retrain the way my mind operates. I had to get some vocational classes and vocational trades so when I get out of prison, I can have some job skills. So this is not only for my benefit, personal benefit, but this is also to back up the words that I'm preaching to these young people in my life, because I can't tell them, oh, go to high school, graduate. But Dad, you ain't even got your GED. What the hell is you talking about? I ain't trying to get that. You know what I mean? So you got to lead by example, man. And it's like, we can't wait till they get 10, 12, 15, 20 years old. You got to start when they 3, 4, 5, 6.
I agree with that. And just to touch on that, one of the things I did when we were talking about young girls was I continually talked to my daughters, and I continually wrote them letters, everything from how to choose friends, what type of things to look out for when you get to be 12 and 13. I prepared them for that. That little boy is going to say, hey, you're beautiful, and I like you, and I want to be with you. And I had to forewarn them, Sydney and Simone. Like, look, this is going to happen, and you're not going to fall for this and end up no teen mother dropping out of school, and we're not doing that. You know, so one thing that I do know from writing my kids, and like I said, when I first entered DC jail, I made a commitment to myself that night that I was going to write my children, I was going to call them, I was going to email them, whatever it took to make sure that they did not end up like this. My daughters was not going to end up strippers. My sons were not going to be fathers who didn't care about their children. So I know that what you tell your children, they listen. They listen to you. If you start talking to your child today, if you're a young father, your child is 3, 4 years old, and you tell your child every day, look, you're not going to prison, you're going to go to college, you're going to be a great person. And if you keep saying those words, they're going to believe it. Because that's all they know is what you tell them, what you put in them. So I thought that was very important when he said that we have to constantly pour into our children, even our nieces, nephews, whoever you know that's young, give them something that they can, hold on to. So I thank God for that. That's right. You got to give them that love, because if you don't give them that love, they will look for love in the streets. They will look for love wherever they can find it. So I'm thankful for High for, speaking on that. So to kind of wrap this up, I want to kind of go into how do we stop the school-to-prison pipeline, because that's a very important thing. We have something on the website right now, the40strong.com, about ending the school-to-prison pipeline, and I believe that it starts with us as fathers, but as a community, as a whole, we do have the governor's office that, we send these to. If there's someone listening, a delegate, somebody, and there has to be something set up for these children in our communities to stop them from saying, I'm going to prison. I have to do this. I have to hustle in the streets. I have to grab a gun to protect myself. What do you think, can be some of those first important tools to stop that school-to-prison pipeline for those who have a son or a daughter that's somewhere locked up right now who may not know how to start this process? What do we do?
Well, I think one of the first things we need to do is we need to start being proactive. We need to start being proactive in who our educators are outside of our household, as far as know who you're voting for your school board members. Know who your children's teachers are. Have conversations with your children's teachers. Know what they are educating your children on. And the Boys and Clubs, the Boys and Girls Clubs, the YMCAs, the neighborhood rec centers, all these are important tools, man. Yes, they're still there, that's available for the young people. You know what I'm saying? It's not there just to strengthen your athletic prowess. It's not there just to chase little females or chase little boys or hang out with your homies. It's there for after school to help you with whatever you're going through in school, your social skills. That's what it's there for. Also, we as older black men in our neighborhoods, whether we're 15, 16, whether we're 25, 45, we need to start educating our young kids the right way. You know, when we see these little kids out here doing what they don't supposed to be doing, yes, we need to correct them. You know what I mean? We need to have conversations with them. We need to show them that, look, this path that you're walking right now, these are your only options available. But if you take this path of education, trade school, college, then the world is open to you. You know what I'm saying? You're limiting yourself when you think that these 7 blocks that you've been living on your whole life is your world. It's a whole world out there. And we have to start opening these kids' eyes and minds up to this world that's available to them at a young age before they get trapped within this 7-block system that they've been living in. So I think the most important thing is the resources and the opportunities are available. But we as adults, we have to open these kids' minds and their eyes up and let them see that, wow, it's really a world out here. It's really opportunities that I can develop. It's not just fiction shit that I see in a book. This shit is real.
I appreciate that. I want to thank High for coming through today. That was beautiful. And like he said, you know, there are still these organizations around. Big Brothers and Sisters, YMCA, YWCA. You have all types of clinics and mobile. I mean, there's so much still available. Public library. There we go. Public library. They got computer access, books, games, educational things. But if all we're doing is giving them a cell phone and games and play the game and all, like, what are we doing? Like, so a lot of things that I tell my children now with my grandchildren is motivating them. If they start to sing, get them a microphone, karaoke machine. If they start to read a lot, get them the books that they want. So whatever you see your child having an interest in, feed that interest. Feed that interest. As long as it's a positive thing, feed that interest, because that interest could lead to something special. You know, so I hope that this reaches a father somewhere. If you know a father somewhere who's struggling, who's trying to be in his child's life, please give them some encouragement. The book, like I said, is available, Fathers Initiative Training. It is on Amazon. It's a great read. It's basically 7 steps dealing with everything from accepting responsibility, how to motivate your child, how to listen to your child, how to hear undertones. Because you can talk to a child and they can say something simple, but if you don't really hear what they're saying, it can get past you. So I thank everyone for listening. You know, this season 2 has been great. We got one more show for season 2 coming up. But I want to thank Ha again. You know, any father out there that's struggling, stepfather, whatever, get involved, man. The first thing you do is pick up the phone and say hello. How you doing? How was school? Start the conversation basic, because a lot of times when I'm talking to young guys, when they're starting that journey, they like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to talk to my child. Just say hello. Children are simple people. Adults are complicated. Hold on, I want to add one more thing.
Just to add on to that, this is what I tell a lot of men and women. You know, when you need to have a conversation with young people, sometimes we have to take ourselves out of our adult mentality and put ourselves back to how we was thinking and how we was feeling when we was 10, 12, and 13, and be able to relate to where they are coming from instead of always having to be the director and judgmental. Let them talk and be understanding, and that way you would know how to respond to their needs and their feelings at that time.
Thank you again. I love it. So that's where we at, man. You know, this is the Fathers Initiative Training, 40 Minutes with 40, live special edition for the fathers. We are wishing everyone a well, hoping everyone is on that journey together, taking care of the kids, doing whatever you can to make this journey better. Number one, the one thing that we stand for at the 40 Strong, if nothing else, is stopping the school-to-prison pipeline. Please speak to a child today, speak to a youth, be the difference. Man, I love y'all, man. All the fathers out there, keep trying, keep fighting. I came in with 4 children. All of them are great people. Work jobs, got their own house, they're married, taking care of my grandchildren. Like, I couldn't have prayed for a better outcome, because I didn't know really what to do. I just started doing something. So I thank y'all again. This has been your Fathers Initiative Training, special edition for the fathers. And like I said, man, have a great day. Keep pouring into the children. This is Free, founder of the 40 Strong, and this has been your 40 Minutes with 40 Fathers Initiative Training Special. Much love, y'all.